Ladies and gentlemen, can you dig it? The legendary Friday Nights of the Nerd O Round Table have amassed to bring you none other than that. You see it, you've seen it. Hopefully, if not, get ready for some spoilers because we are about to go way in on Shang-Chi, or Sean, as he changed his name.
How you gonna change your name to Sean?
Look, you know what? We will get there. Tom is talking. How are you doing, brother?
I am well, to Wale.
McBain, what is up with you, brother?
From now on, call me Ryan McBain, please. Please. Thank you.
Shit. Dr. Liz from the freeway.
Oh, hello, everyone.
And last but never ever least, Mo Kelly. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. We need to get this going because I got a lot to say about this movie. A lot.
Oh, and look, and perfectly right on time. Anthony from way over there. What's up with you, brother?
What's good?
All right. So before we get into this, I need to clear the stage and I need to talk to you for a second, Mo.
Okay.
As you know, for the last some 10 years or so, I have been studying Taekwondo. Mm-hmm. Before that, I was in Wing Chun, hurt my arm. Actually didn't hurt my arm. I was on dialysis for several years and I had to get out of Wing Chun, got into Taekwondo. For the better part of 10 years, I have achieved the rank of Poom Belt, black belt candidate. You, sir, have been studying Hapkido for the better part of, what are we saying now, 30 years?
No, 35, 36 years.
36 years.
Yeah.
You are currently standing at the rank of what?
Fourth Dan, fourth degree, black belt.
How long did it take you, sir, to reach and achieve that belt?
I would say altogether about 6 years. I took 2 years in high school, took 4 years off to go to college, came back, started again when I was 24, started over from white belt, as a matter of fact. And then I got my black belt when I was 27, which was on September 27th of 1997. So I want to say maybe 6 years altogether before.
6 years altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. And I asked you this for a reason, because in watching the film Shang-Chi, something stood out to me immediately. This is a young man who at the age of 6 trained in whichever martial art form they were studying in the mountains in this film for the better part of 10 years, because he left at the age of what, 14, 15?
Yeah, he was an adolescent still.
Okay. So he left and he fled to San Francisco, and for all intents and purposes, he stopped studying martial arts.
We
stopped.
We assumed that he didn't even stretch.
Didn't even stretch. Okay. His father, Win Wu, had been studying, practicing, and ruling with martial arts for some 1,000 odd years.
Yeah, they said as much, a millennium. So okay, 1,000 years.
I just want to ask you a question, because I know that you, sir, would know this. Even now, having achieved the ranking of fourth Dan, do you think in your wildest dreams that you currently would be able to, say, hold a candle to your grandmaster if he had maintained his youth? If your grandmaster was maybe I'll give him 10 years older than you.
Yeah. No way in hell. My grandmaster is Grandmaster Song Ho Jin, who taught Korean Marines, who lived through the Japanese occupation of Korea, where they weren't allowed to have weapons and they were kicking people's ass however they could, whenever they would. It was real for him, and he's trained black belts for the better part of 60 years, I would say. And I know that my experience pales in comparison to him and his real life experience, real war experience. And that's just one lifetime. We're not talking about someone who's lived maybe 15, 20 lifetimes.
I wanted to get that perspective from you because off the top, I found the film Shang-Chi, for me personally, a novice for all intents and purposes in the world of martial arts. You know, my 15 years, I say, puts me at a very skilled white belt. I don't care if I'm just, you know, a test away from black belt. I still consider myself a novice. It offended me on so many levels that someone who studied martial arts, I don't care if you studied every day, 24 hours a day, it offended me that they tried to paint a picture of a young man who studied martial arts for some 10, 11 years and then left it alone and then comes back and is even able to hold a candle to anyone, even within the ranks of his father's army, who studies every day still under him.
Yeah, that was problematic for me. The whole idea of who this Mandarin character was. And I have to say he was the Mandarin because they used the Disney Plus one shot and built upon that. I don't want to get too deep into the movie, but Trevor plays a prominent role. So we know that Trevor took the mantle of the Mandarin and the Mandarin was pissed at him. So this character of the Mandarin, the way they portrayed him in this movie, was just unbelievable to me. He wasn't sinister. He wasn't angry in the way that he was portrayed to be in the Marvel one shot. There were a lot of things wrong, but to your point, Tuwala, the martial arts, if you have any degree of training or knowledge of them, it was problematic on many levels because Shang-Chi before the 10 Rings is not immortal in any way. He's not special in any way, with the exception of he got his ass beat for the good 10, 15 years in which he was training at home, which is kind of normal for everyone. And then he went to San Francisco and all of a sudden out of nowhere on a bus, he has to kick it into gear. Now there is such thing as muscle memory, but your timing will not be there. If you've ever sparred, if you've ever gotten in a fight, your timing is not going to be there. Instincts, maybe. Timing, no.
Instincts, I'll give it to him. The type of training that we saw him going through, very rigorous. I'm sure they beat muscle memory into him, but there is still a thing at muscle memory fading, especially if you are approached by individuals who are currently still highly active. I'm sure you, now that you have gotten back on the mat, you are back actively training, you are teaching, you are doing belt tests. I am sure that when you got back out there, there were some young bucks who you were like, okay, hey, you better respect my belt and leave me the fuck alone for a second.
Right. So I can get myself back. I didn't spar for the first year, put it that way.
Right.
I let the aura of mystique remain.
and I think it's very important for our viewers and for our listeners to understand when we talk about Shang-Chi, we're talking about it from not just a fan's perspective, but from individuals who actually, you know, study and practice martial arts. And so with that, I would like to bring in the rest of the round table crew, because I personally have to say this film for me is not going to make my top 5 ever. This is not a film that I have to actually see again. I will not pay money to see this film again.
I mean, damn,
but
I
didn't hate it. But damn it, this shit could have been on the Disney Plus channel. It really did not deserve the box office. And I think it's going to suffer mightily because there are so many fucking flaws in this film. Martial arts was beautiful. It had some levity. But overall, watching this film, it suffered from just a weak telling of a story, of an origin.
Okay.
Damn, man. Shit.
I would like to jump in. I would like to jump in at this point and say that Mo is the same person who is defending the merit of Paper Tigers as it pertains to martial arts. And to me, I will say that
I said it was a good movie. I didn't say it was good martial arts.
So to me, there are a couple of things that I think you guys may have overlooked a little bit, which is he didn't go to pot. The first thing we see him do is he's at least keeping himself in physical shape in his bedroom with the push-ups. He's not turning into the fat guy in Paper Tigers who just completely gained a whole bunch of weight.
Tom, we don't know.
Well, no, I'm not. But what I'm saying is that we do not actually know what he is doing in his external life because we are jumped into it only after we have seen that his father is this mythical whatever.
Yes.
And to me, I think you're partially ignoring the fact that 1,000-year-old person's genes married to a magical chick from another dimension may give him a slight edge. He wasn't training.
Yes.
Well, even though his mom lost her powers when she left the thing, it doesn't change the fact that the people in that dimension are also long-lived and also deal with dragons and magic and everything else. And whatever energy from the rings or whatever it was that made his daddy as long as he was, it's reasonable for me to roll with the idea that when you have parents like that, your physical attributes are escalated. To me, it's why his dad, when his dad came to him and said, I bet my people that they couldn't kill you, and I'm glad to see that I was right.
So, you know what, Tom? That's fine. That's fine.
I mean, it's a superhero movie. Too.
No. But to that point,
with magical rings,
the issue at hand is still the ultimate ending, the finality of this film.
Yes.
I don't care if Shang-Chi is still the baddest man in San Francisco. I don't give a fuck if he's the baddest man in the United States. There's no way in hell he should have been able to hold a candle to his father even for a fucking minute. And that's a problem. And that's disrespectful.
Okay, but there's some elements that you guys are forgetting. Like, don't forget the rings. He was using the rings a lot too. And also back to like the training point.
His auntie trained him just the way his mama did when his mama beat him.
For a day.
The train you guys keep bringing up. You keep forgetting Daredevil. He was only training for a year, a couple years, and then a few years, and then Stick leaves him, and then he grows up, and then he knows how to fight. You can use the same argument for that TV show.
Now here's the thing. Daredevil does have a actual verified superpower. A lot of Daredevil's abilities come from his ability to see punches coming his way and to be able to avoid them.
Yes, but
and also to detect what lines he knows how to hit a person in their weakest points to cause the most damage. So it's not the same argument. That's not the same.
But he's also been born and raised with his mom for most of the years. There was no other education taking place but martial arts. Like this is what he was breathing and living from morning.
No, he was not.
Old man had to learn other languages.
No, it was only after the mother was killed that the dad started hazing the hell out of him.
The mother was 7, yes.
Yeah, the mother was teaching him like the Tai Chi stuff. She was doing her little stuff, but it wasn't exactly the same. I concede the point.
Boy, I know martial artists are mad.
Dude, I'm just saying this, that you could say that like
movements of the
how does Daredevil know how to fight so well? He was only training for like 2 years. So you could assume that he was training himself. He took what Stick taught him and kept on training. You could say the same thing about Shang-Chi.
And you know what? And you know what happened in Daredevil and what we saw
Stick
that when he went up against individuals like Stick who came in and constantly fucked him up, it showed you just how little he knew. How Stick even said, there is so much you don't know about your own ass, Matthew. You need to sit the fuck down.
Shang-Chi also got his ass kicked in the movie as well. His sister got in that ass. Don't forget that.
No, but you know what? No. His sister got in his ass because she was doing when she left, she kept doing what, Ryan? She kept training.
So you can say about Shang-Chi. You can say the same thing.
No.
Training with direction and fighting people. And
you don't know what Shang-Chi was doing.
But wait, let me jump in.
Okay,
when I left my first Hapkido studio, I was a blue belt. Okay? I could only do blue belt things. I was still training by myself, but I was doing blue belt level things. I could not progress beyond that because I had no knowledge beyond that point. I didn't have anyone who was correcting me. I didn't have anyone who was adding to my knowledge base. And since we know that he left as a child, he was not fully formed as a martial artist. And I know this may seem like we're nitpicking here, but it does matter when you're talking about the master of Kung Fu. Master of Kung Fu.
You're kind of nitpicking a little bit.
But here's the thing.
This is a
if you look at
movie.
I get that, but the problem is they tried to make it a superhero film about the master of martial arts. This isn't just a superhero film about a guy who discovered he was born into a family of superheroes. If they would have stuck to the Shang-Chi that we know, it would have made a different story.
Okay,
but really having a kid who's just you know what, I got this, that's a problem.
But let me just say this. First of all, not very many people knew Shang-Chi. So let's not talk about the Shang-Chi we know. It's a couple of us who knew the Shang-Chi from the comic books, but the don't nobody know the Shang-Chi. So let's be clear about, or Shang-Chi.
No, and you know what? And no one knew Sean. All they knew about Sean is he parked cars.
But let's be clear about this too. When his father sent him on that mission, his father thought he was ready because he had beaten all of the people who were training him, with the possible exception, because we never really saw him beat the ass of the masked person whose identity isn't even ever revealed.
Death Dealer.
But but he had beaten him to the extent that Death Dealer was not mastering Shang-Chi anymore, even as a 14-year-old, whatever. So he did take all of his father's instruction, and his father said, "You are ready. Go kill the dude who killed your mama."
Wait,
so I think it's a right. No, it wasn't. But wait a minute. Hold on. He sent him out to do that, and you can say he was a thug, but and we think he didn't do it, but he did do it.
He did do it.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, this whole thing. But I guess my whole point is that we don't know what Sean was actually doing. We know that Aquafina or Katie doesn't know what he's been doing, except that he's this person. But he isn't parking cars and doing karaoke. That's not the only thing he's doing. Because it's heavily.
The problem is if I'm only watching this movie and I can only go off of what they've shown us and the conversation that she said, I've known you for the better part of your life. And I've never seen any of this. The happened when he got there.
No,
when he got there, that was it.
If we believe the story as it's told, if we believe the story as it's told, he left home. He didn't want to be an assassin.
No, except that he was an assassin. And then
he wasn't trying to keep up his assassin skills. Okay, he did not leave his father's tutelage and secretly practice all his assassin shit. Okay,
you don't know that though.
But he wasn't a Black Widow.
You don't know that.
His dad is a 1,000-year-old warlord. I would think he'd need to keep his talent up in case. He was waiting for this day. He was hoping it wouldn't happen, but he was waiting for the day when his daddy was going to come for him and try to do whatever. If it's revenge, just like he kept in contact, or just like he knew what his sister was doing, or wanted to care about his sister, but was afraid of contacting her, blah, 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 blah. He was waiting for the day when the bill was going to come due.
And I got to ask you a question.
He only knew where his sister was when his sister sent him
wait, I can't even hear most things.
I'm saying, who was he sparring with? Who was he fighting? I'm saying there's one thing if you want to say he was training. But if you're going to be an elite level assassin or deal with elite level assassins, he's going to have to do some elite level assassin shit to keep him in elite level assassin shape. Okay. And obviously, you know, I know it's a superhero movie. I'm just saying that from what I know about the character having nothing to do with the movie, as the master of Kung Fu,
right?
We didn't get to see that portion of the story arc, and it was intentionally removed because he left home at an early age. I would liken it to becoming a black belt. He was black belt level, or I don't know what sash level he might have left at when he left home, but he wasn't master level. That's all I'm saying.
He was master enough to be sent out at 14.
Thank you, Barack.
His sister was no, look, I get that. I get that his father couldn't just come in and just do it, because there wouldn't be a lot of movies. But I think that I hold Marvel to a different standard when it comes to just taking the easy route. When it comes to just doing simple stuff.
It's not a great movie.
I can't.
I'm sorry.
It's a good movie.
This shit should have been on TV. It should have been on TV.
I can't believe I actually agree with Liz. I can't believe
I saw it in 3D, and I actually loved the movie. I loved the humor of it. It was nice to see something pretty light, along with, I mean, down to the fact that you have the man in Jordans for most of the movie. He's doing all this. These
That's another thing. You can't do that shit in Jordans.
Well, apparently Shang-Chi can. I thought it was very, very good. Okay.
Look, I didn't buy the whole. I didn't buy their chemistry.
I don't know.
I didn't believe that he would even have anything for Aquafina. I never bought that at all.
Well, don't get me started on her. I didn't like her at all.
No.
No,
not great.
I didn't buy it.
She's not funny.
I'm so glad Trevor Slattery
Y'all
showed
just
up.
mad because
Aquafina fuck Trevor.
is problematic.
No way.
No, yeah,
Aquafina.
That actor has done the same shtick in.
Yes.
Well, I'm saying actor just because I'm not genderizing the thing. So that actor has done the same thing in every role. She has even the whole that the Oscar nominated thing about the grandmother who everybody thought was going to die. She plays the same character. Oh, I'm Asian, but I'm also a little street. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
2 points that I have to get off my chest. It seems like every Asian character embraced their heritage except for her, which really kind of like, it was like, that was kind of weird. And two,
she couldn't speak Chinese.
No, I'm just saying. And also, in a movie like this, you don't need 2 people that do comic relief. Okay, you already had Aquafina, no. So Trevor had too much fucking time. That kind of bothered me.
Trevor
had a lot of. I did not. Okay, here's the thing that I will give Mo and Twala as a critique. Even though this character, who did not ever call himself the Mandarin, he made a point of saying how ridiculous he thought that name was. They named him for an orange. That he did not embrace that. And although the orange is not completely accurate either, because Mandarin does exist outside of the oranges, but whatever, notwithstanding, he called himself his name. And that's what he went by. Now, his wife tamed him for 8 years before she was killed. And he tried to be a different person. One thing that I did like about this is that they didn't turn him into a caricature of a megalomaniac. His motivation was very different from the comic books because A, he's not tied to Iron Man the way he was so intimately. The 10 rings were not space rings with different superpowers. But his motivation was much more along the lines of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. The great love of his life was taken from him. He was being tempted. He wasn't a bloodthirsty person. What he thought he was doing was bringing his wife back. So even though at the end, when he's fighting with Shang-Chi, before he gets to the gate, because he did power the hell out of Shang-Chi, let's not be confused. He used the full power of those 10 rings and knocked that boy into the ocean or the sea. I was very pissed off that wasn't Fin Fam Foom, by the way, but you know, whatever. They turned that shit into Raya in the water dragon or whatever. Go ahead.
Tom, I got a question for you, and it's basically you and Tuala, because you know the backstory of the character better than I do. I'm thinking the 10 Rings as an organization, a terrorist organization, since they directly tied this to Iron Man and Trevor, that they would show some sort of reason for the existence of the organization. And it seemed like Papa Mandarin had no connection to the organization anymore. It seemed like they validated Iron Man 3 with this extended cameo of Trevor, which pissed me off. And at the same time, did not pay off what the 10 Rings were or its connection to the original Iron Man story.
Well, so let me, I thought about that. It tracks for me that during the period of time that he was with the wife that he loved, the Middle Eastern guys kind of co-opted the old organization for their own ends.
Yes.
Yeah, they kind of broke into their own cell because it wasn't right. It wasn't related at all to any of the Chinese people that he was running in his organization, although we do see it's a multicultural mix, let's be clear. So that's what I took it as, because between the snap and the disappearance of the wife and whatever, he didn't jump right back into becoming a warlord again when his wife died. He was training his son for a while. He got the revenge in the small way. He did kind of go back to being whatever, but it wasn't that caricature of, oh, I'm just running around and I'm killing people. He was kind of running at more of a top level, this organization. And because he had these superpowers, it was mostly ruled by fear. I didn't get the impression that the character was out there again. He was willing to let Killian do this thing because he never referred to himself as the Mandarin. And even in Iron Man 3, it wasn't so much about 10 rings and the Mandarin. It was 10 rings. We made that connection because we knew what 10 rings meant. But it wasn't ever as explicit as, I think Aldrich Killian took advantage of the fact that Shang-Chi's father was kind of off the board for a minute.
Well, he might have also taken advantage of it from the existence that was exposed in the first Iron Man film. You know, when you see it there, and because he was a huge fan and a follower of Tony Stark, and he built his image around this, especially because he had no doubt he knew what happened to Stain and everything. So yeah, so he built it off of that and tried to build up this whole organization. But when you go just into the telling of this origin story, which as an origin story, yeah, sure, it really introduces to the character, but to me this film had a lot of when I say a Thor vibe, it's like they rushed through this film like they're trying to get somewhere. By the time it got to the end, and it's like, hey, they meet up with Wong, and you got Professor Hulk in the end. We're going straight to the end here, everybody. Professor Hulk, you got Captain Marvel, and they're all like, hey, so welcome to it. You guys are gonna be, fighting fucking superheroes, and we'll see you soon. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like,
that was a mini movie.
Were you guguys in a hurry to make this damn movie?
Yeah.
Well, let's be clear. The movie was 2 hours and 20 minutes. They weren't rushing through shit.
It was a long movie.
They weren't rushing.
I will add that I find it hard.
It was Loki adjacent with the sitting and talking bullshit.
Yes.
I will give you that. There was a lot.
I will find that. I will add that I find it hard to believe that the quote unquote real Mandarin didn't kill Trevor. Like, he kept him around. I was like, really?
Yeah, I didn't buy that.
I didn't buy that at all.
Make him a pet?
You don't see the Mandarin really kill anybody.
Oh, yes, we do.
Oh, yes, we do.
He kills all those people in the restaurant.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He kills all the.
He kills a lot of people.
And
I was expecting a lot more of
very
him
first
in
scene.
action doing his thing.
Well, yeah, in the first
very
scene where he's
That's
a
nothing.
warlord.
That's nothing. That's an opening scene, an introduction to the character. I wanted to see him going to town on people.
In the restaurant, he went to work.
But what was that? Like a 35-second scene?
I mean,
like, look,
he's the Mandarin.
This is not
right.
I don't
right.
Yeah,
but I don't think
I expected a lot more violence and a lot more savagery out of him.
But
he
see,
was
here's
the
the thing.
CEO of a multi-national territory.
Everything in the MCU is different.
Yes.
In the comic books, the Mandarin character had the mustache and the beard, and he was raising he had 1,000 sons with 1,000 concubines, and he was a megalomaniac. What I'm saying is that, like with a lot of things that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has done, they tweak the motivation, they change the story for the sake of the story. This was a story about family and loss.
It was F9? What?
And betrayal. Yeah, exactly. And they didn't have to go to space in a Fiero.
But they were straight up drifting. They were drifting through the woods.
They were drifting through the woods. And I thought that was a great. I loved the moving tree maze, although it is very much like Maze Runner. But this was different. This character was not built to be the Joker or Lex Luthor. They already completely took him away from Iron Man, that was the dynamic of the comic books. The Mandarin was an Iron Man person. Mm-hmm. He was basically he was Norman Osborn to Spider-Man for Iron Man, because he had a wide variety of abilities, and Iron Man had a wide variety of abilities with his armors. And so they were the classic Clash villains of that franchise. They took him away from all that. They introduced it. They saw that the fans were pissed off with Trevor Slattery. They said, nope, he's no longer an Iron Man guy. We're going to pull him over here. And then they killed him. Spoiler alert. You're watching this show, it's a spoiler alert. And they changed the whole dynamic of the character to make him more tragic and empathetic, which is
I don't need that in a villain.
I understand, but you know
Thank
what?
you.
It certainly worked.
No.
It certainly
Oh
worked
my-
for Killmonger.
Why
Killmonger
make
is
it-
one of
dude,
Killmonger
thank
is
you.
one of
Thank
the best
you.
villains in the MCU,
Yes.
and
That's true.
because he connected with
The
audience.
I'm
best type of
tired.
villain is a villain that you understand their
But
motivation.
it's-
That's the
No.
best type.
No, but Killmonger was sinister. He would kill
Yes.
anyone, anywhere, anytime.
You
You
saw
also
him kill
understood
his
why he was
girl.
doing it and
He
why
killed
he,
his girl.
but you understood why he was doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this Mandarin was not killing anyone,
Hmm.
anywhere, anytime. He was motivated only by revenge of his wife. After that, he was soft on his
I
son.
don't
Hey, he was
want-
killing
I don't
people for
wanna
thousands of
sympathize.
years.
I don't want to sympathize with my bad guys. And to go back to
Well,
the
I
point,
mean,
well, here
He
you go.
didn't
To go back
sympathize
to your
with
point,
the
Ryan,
dweller
when
in the
you said he
darkness,
went
though.
to town on the guys in the bar. If he was as savage as his reputation led him up to be, they never would have went to his house and done what they did. They never would have
Well,
killed
he
his
didn't
wife.
have the 10
he had been
rings.
retired.
He-
had-
exactly,
had-
he's
They knew who he
retired.
was.
And wins.
You know,
They knew who
Are
he
we
was.
following stories?
They knew who he was.
Are we
They
following
told
the
his
story?
wife.
But he even says that in the script. He says, if I had never put these away, they never would have come to my house.
Thank
his
you.
wife,
They knew what he
his
had
wife
done.
convinced him. His wife convinced
Thank you.
him to be a
But
nice
he-
guy.
They knew what he had done. They knew how bad he was. Still, his reputation was still there.
Look, just because someone puts their gun in their drawer doesn't mean they can't pull it back out.
Oh
Just
my
because someone
God,
takes off
you're
the
so
rings, they can't
nitpicking.
put them back
This
on.
is a
He never
superhero
was
movie.
without the rings.
Nah, Ryan, I don't want to hear that superhero movie
Well, you
shit.
gonna hear
'Cause
it,
if this
brother.
was
You gonna
DC,
hear
you'd
it.
be having a field day. And not only
That's
that,
trash.
and not only
Don't-
that,
don't
not only
compare
that,
DC
the-
to this.
no,
Don't compare
no,
DC to
the
this.
the
No,
martial
no.
arts, the martial
No.
arts in this film, even though they were good, they
Okay.
were not as good as even the martial
Black
arts
Widow.
in Daredevil. They
Black
just
Widow.
weren't.
Not
No,
Oh, that's
no, you're
bullshit.
crazy. No, you are
No,
fucking high.
That's bullshit.
Do they
Because
drug
you
test the
cannot-
KFI?
you
Do they
cannot
drug
tell me-
test the
Look,
KFI?
Daredevil
You cannot-
martial arts.
The
Par
Daredevil
excellence.
martial
Okay.
arts, the Daredevil
Oh,
martial
You're
arts
trying to
were
say
stellar.
Charlie. You're trying
I
to say
wanted to
Charlie Cox
see
was as
better.
good as Simu Liu.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Are you?
You're
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Go back.
Bullshit.
Go back.
Yes.
Go the
Wow.
fuck back and
Who
watch
is
it.
this man?
Wow.
Go back and watch
You
it.
know it.
Go back
Wait a
and watch
minute.
it.
Wait, I'm
Wow.
listening to two
Charlie Cox
non-martial
would get
artists tell
fucking
me.
handled.
You two
You
non-martial
wish
artist
he would.
motherfuckers are trying to tell me just by looking that the martial arts in Shang-Chi
Yes.
was as good or better than
Yes.
Daredevil.
Yes.
Better.
I'm
Yes.
Yes.
pulling rank.
Yes.
Y'all are wrong.
Yes.
Okay.
Y'all are
Okay.
First of all,
wrong. You ain't
you
doing
can-
it
you
in
can-
your life. Y'all are
You can
wrong.
You are high.
you can discount Ryan because Ryan still talks about the immortal Iron Fist like that motherfucker
Okay,
Ken Jones
get
is
it
actually
right though.
doing
It's the
anything.
mortal iron fist, protector of Kunlun, sworn enemy of the hand. Get it right. Get it right, brother.
Wow.
Sworn,
Oh,
sworn
Ryan.
enemy of my disposable moisture wipes is what he was because he wasn't handling shit. He wasn't handling jack shit.
Oh man.
You all get them.
I
Look,
will
look,
say-
I mean, look, I get it. Look, it's been a long time. You guys have really wanted to
Nah,
go to the
man.
movies. You
Nah,
needed some
man.
MCU
I ain't
content.
crazy.
You
You
guys
crazy.
needed something.
You crazy, man.
And-
You crazy.
And
Look,
in
this
the
shit is not in the top
wait.
5, and there's no way you
Okay,
can convince me
That's fine.
otherwise.
Dude,
But
that's
I-
fine. That's
but
fine.
nobody said I didn't say top 5.
I didn't say it was top 5.
Hell,
That's fine.
hell, look. This film is a Disney Plus film at best.
No,
No
This
way.
film
no,
is not
no,
a big-
no,
it is not
no.
a theatrical film.
Yeah,
This
yes,
movie
it
was
is.
better.
That
This
is
movie was
not
better
true.
than The Incredible Hulk.
Yes.
Oh,
Which is basically
that's not saying a lot, Tom.
Better than
Yeah.
Captain
That's saying a
Marvel.
lot.
You're
Better than
saying it
Thor
wasn't.
2.
You're saying it. Thank you.
Wait.
Definitely
Wait,
better
wait.
than Thor
Hey,
2.
Tom, to your
Yes.
point, since you bring up the Incredible Hulk, what was the point of bringing in the Abomination for a cameo that is neither explained nor validated?
Pointless.
He's
No,
just
that's
hanging out with
pointless.
Wong.
I don't
No,
get that.
I
don't
was
get that.
pissed. You know, I was expecting Val to show up. That's what I was waiting for. Up
Right.
until we closed with that with the Sister Girl taking over. By the way, I'm waiting for Sister Girl, Power Carter, and the Black Widows. I want to see
come
all
together.
that.
Right?
I
And the
want to
Dora
see
Milaje.
all of that.
The Dora
And the
Milaje in
Dora-
there too.
They're on the
I want the
Dora Milaje.
battle of the 4 armies. I want all of that.
Yeah.
Right.
To me, one of the things that was most compelling and interesting about this movie is that they elevated the sister as along with Michelle Yeoh and Aquafina. This was 2 male characters. I know you didn't like Aquafina, but the point is they spent a lot of time on her.
Yeah.
And what we left
Okay.
with is you've got the sister who's now equal to. She's basically Ra's al Ghul. The sister is
right.
The League of Assassins. That's her new role. You got Sharon Carter, who's running things in Madripoor, and they only set this thing in Macau because if she was in Madripoor, she would have been bumping heads directly with the power broker, as far as I'm concerned. And now you've got Shang-Chi, who has the rings, which is not something I was fully expecting.
That was interesting.
That was cool. That was hot.
And my son, Thomas, my older son, Cole, said that he liked this one the best, but that's because he's an anime fan. And he really liked a lot of the like when he saw Ninetales on screen, he almost lost his shit.
All the Pokemon over there.
Yeah. Well, it's not Pokemon, but I mean the Ninetales happens to be one, but he likes the Ninetales from Naruto. That's what was getting him.
Yeah.
But Thomas said he really thought, because they both took Taekwondo, he thought that his powers were cool because it was mostly a martial artist, but then at the end, when he was jockeying for the rings with his dad and did his final thing with the Dweller in the Darkness and all of that, he thought that was cool because it was a blend of those sorts of elements. I agree that this movie really kind of stands apart from the MCU. Aside from those 35 seconds of cameos, there wasn't really a big connection. It wasn't something where it's like, oh, I see, this is the direction that Phase 4 is going.
Well,
it's the origin movie.
I mean,
I didn't dislike it the way that you guys did.
Yeah, I really like
questions, right? So there are questions like, so when Wong first comes in, you're like, whoa, why?
Right.
So does he do entertainment? Right. Why is he here? What?
Hustle.
Why is he and the Abomination homies after the fight?
Well,
they knew each other. I'm just guessing they're just training. I guess I don't know.
That was some Don King shit. That was.
But did anybody see when he opens up the portal where they went?
They went back to the library.
I thought they went to the Sanctum.
It didn't look like either of those. It looked like a set, like somewhere else to me. It did not.
There were lots of books. That's all I know. I saw a whole, which made me think it was the library. It wasn't the exact library at Kamar-Taj because they had those chains and shit there, but it was a place with a lot of books. And so.
And then question number 2 is Captain Marvel has long hair. I'm back to the hair.
Okay. There we go.
So we go.
But the tips aren't frosted though.
Okay.
They're not. Right. So Captain Marvel has long hair. And then we have Banner, whose
arm's still broken.
Yes, still asleep.
And let's not. This is a big deal here. He's no longer Professor Hulk.
No,
they kind of like I'm like, so what's going on here? What? That makes. Huh?
I think the simple logistics are that Professor Hulk can't fit in the hologram range. It would just be his torso and head, and he would. No, seriously. Imagine that. You have Professor Hulk.
You sit down,
You'd see his head and his torso because he's that wide.
But the point is,
hologram thing was just the width of a body.
But Tom, the point is the time frame, and correct me if I'm wrong, is their blip adjacent. It's still relatively recent in the grand scheme of things. Right. So to Ryan's point, we were never told explicitly. Well, we knew that Banner had merged the brain with the bronze, but we never were told that he could go back to Bruce whenever he wanted to Banner.
Exactly. Because in Endgame, at Tony Stark's funeral, he's still Professor Hulk.
That's right.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not saying he can't Hulk out.
But this has to be and then I'm trying to figure out like how many months after Endgame can this possibly be?
I'm guessing maybe a year. I don't know.
Oh, I don't think it's that long.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's adjacent. It's close.
They don't refer to any other events that we have seen happen in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I mean, not that WandaVision would be a big thing. They're on the other side of the country. But
let's pause because if I were me, I was thinking, where's Doctor Strange?
I thought he was going to
be. Wong is bringing all of these people together to figure out what this looks like. Why wouldn't Doctor Strange be here? So then it made me think, so this has to be adjacent to Spider-Man in the multiverse because then he's not here. There's no other reason why Doctor Strange would not be here.
Yes, there is.
It could be post Spider-Man. and he's dealing with the multiverse of madness. He's occupied with the multiverse.
But the director's already said he couldn't use Doctor Strange. The director's already said he couldn't. So, with the exception of limitations of our real world, he wanted to put Doctor Strange in the story. So Liz's question is valid, but it's not an intentional choice by the director in terms of story, for whatever that's worth.
Hey,
I just
look, I get it.
Y'all some haters. It's almost
look, I get it.
we got
we're split down the middle. Tom, Ryan, and Liz, y'all loved it.
Stop the other three of us mouth.
Look, man, I get it. You're repping. You're repping hard for it.
I thought Liz liked it the most. I thought it was very good. Okay, I liked it. Liz and I are like this right now. Okay,
himself with me. That's okay.
No,
I'm good. I don't need you.
I didn't say.
Have my back. I did not say you needed
me. I'm just saying I like the movie.
Okay,
good.
So
anyway.
I think Barack makes a good point. This movie is not called Shang-Chi Master of Kung Fu. This movie is called Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
What legend?
Good. No,
that was his father.
That's fine.
With 1,000 years.
Then this Shang-Chi, who arguably was even getting taught a valuable lesson by his aunt when he was trying to learn the secrets of his mother's way, should not have been in the same damn ring with his dad. Maybe his mom should have. I mean, his aunt should have fought the father then, since she also had the mastery of the Vegeta Talo.
They were using the rings.
Well, then her name
I don't care. Ring means her sister was able to face off against the father with the rings. The aunt should have fought the father with the rings.
Okay,
I wasn't trying to kill her. He had a hard on for her. That's why.
Sure.
I will say this
too.
If
you want to go there, sure.
I went there.
Something about the rings appeared to be tied to the bloodline, because the rings not only went to Shang-Chi when he called them, they also changed color.
Yeah.
So I think that lends a little bit of credence to my assertion that when your daddy is 1,000-year-old warlord powered by magical energy and rings, you get some of them genes.
And then
that's fine.
That's
fine. Tom. No, hold on, Tom.
Wait,
Tom, as a father, real quick, Tom, as a father, Tom. If what you're telling me is just because your son has your genes and Kathy's genes, he could hold his own against you, I promise you, way more than your son. You'll put your son down every day, every single day.
Okay.
I'm just saying if that's your argument, it's not a valid argument. I was talking about his fighting against the other people, because you were disparaging his ability to fight anybody. His father is a different case, but his father literally handled him. It wasn't until he got out of the water, sucking up some magic dragon juice. He sucked some dragon juice. Okay.
And flying on a never-ending story on Falcor over to the
that's why I checked out. That is why when I checked out when he started sucking the dragon juice. And he was there.
Falcor. And when he jumped off there, and those things,
that's a problem.
When those things started coming out the shield wall or whatever, and Daddy was still like, nope, my wife's there. I was like, bro, you think your wife is with them ugly ass soul sucking flying monster things? And then by the time
you're making our point,
I'm not though, because he was handled until the father's faith was shook.
Yes.
And the son took rings from him. And as soon as the son takes rings, he gets some of the magic juice of the rings, and that elevates him. It doesn't turn him into his father, but his father wasn't beaten by Shang-Chi. His father was beaten by a millennia old.
He was beaten by
dragon.
To me, the problem is it did not, and it should not have gotten to the point where he even had an opportunity to blast him into the water. God. There's no way that he should have made it out of that fucking hut.
So that's what I'm saying. Movie gonna be?
Then do something else. You don't have to give us more. Don't make it. Don't make that connection. Then don't have this invincible father
He didn't want to kill his son to begin with.
1,000-year-old warlord father,
Yeah,
and then this
when
30-year-old
you're
young
fighting your
buck.
son, okay.
He
No,
I have a
was
question.
fighting his son to get his family back together. He wasn't trying to fucking kill his son.
thank
Okay.
you.
Question.
The whole
Sure,
point
he
was to
was.
have them all back together again.
So he
My
knew
last
he was going to
question.
survive being blasted into the water. Right. Sure. Sure
Hey,
he did.
He
He
had
didn't
the
know
armor
that.
on, so yes.
Look, my last question before we move on. Why is it Wong said that, I guess he was not even aware of the rings or their energy, and he said could have been Chitauri, whatever. He was not aware of them until Shang-Chi used them, even though Daddy Warbucks Lord has been using them for the past 1,000 years.
Okay, now,
Well,
Isn't that weird?
Wong's only 40.
Yeah, but still, it should have registered somewhere.
He
That's
had
all I'm saying.
900.
There's a lot of things that they don't know.
Wait a second.
There's a lot of things
Wait
they
a
don't know.
second. I think that it is with whatever his aura is that then made it change from this evil side, which is what they said in the beginning, that you could use the 10 rings for evil or you can use it for good. And the fact that it's been used for evil for so long, and then whatever his aura is, it changed the rings to
This is Liz reaching.
yellow.
No, she's
Well,
not.
I mean, and then there's a beacon in it, right? So they get
Well,
to that part of a beacon.
I would.
And
So what you're saying is when Leroy got the glow and it changed
Okay.
colors, that's why
Really?
he beat showing up. Sure.
It
Okay,
is.
let's go with that.
No,
Let's
stop
go.
it.
First of all,
Stop
if you remember when
There
he
has
hit
to be a
Show
reason
Up,
why it
it
changed
wasn't
colors.
red and evil. It was like full fireworks. The energy changed. But
Yeah,
what I-
no, everything
But
changed.
here's my point. Here, I don't think the rings were mystical. I think we're supposed to believe that beacon is extraterrestrial.
Yes.
Secret Wars
And-
or Alien Invasion, whatever.
I'm not sure. I'm just saying in the comic books, the rings were artifacts from an alien engine, an alien spaceship.
Yes.
So I think they could have slipped under the radar with Strange and Wong because just like any other technology, they aren't mystic based. They're just, like
Strange and
they're not
Wong didn't even
magic.
know about Thanos until Hulk told them in Infinity War.
Yeah.
Got him.
So
Got him.
this is what I'm.
I think that's a tie to Eternals. I think we're gonna.
I think so,
it's gonna
too.
be revealed that it's Eternals technology.
It's not
He's a
pushed back.
I think
descendant
that
of
makes sense.
Celestial, like Peter Quill.
Okay.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
here's what because I was thinking about Wong bringing Captain Marvel and Banner. Who else could he have bought?
Why are you calling him Banner, man?
Banner.
John Boehner, Speaker of the House.
Banner.
Banner. Bruce Banner, girl. You sounded like Terrence Howard right now.
Man. Come on, man.
Anyway, the dude,
Banner,
right?
man.
So who else could you have bought if Doctor Strange isn't there? Then there really isn't anybody left.
Rocket. If it's technology related and space related, Rocket.
Shuri.
But
he's
you had Captain Marvel for the space thing.
Yeah, but I got a feeling she ain't all
he's
that
also off.
into it like Rocket.
I don't
is.
think they want to
Rocket
bring in
builds
Shuri
stuff.
because if you bring in Shuri, people are going to ask, "Where's T'Challa?" And they're trying to stay away from that right now.
Well, clearly they are.
All right. Yeah, I can dig that.
Okay,
But
and then finally,
but she's also the tech person.
Valkyrie.
I also enjoyed the fact that they spent this long joke on how to pronounce his name. I know it sounds silly, which is why you have Sean. Why'd you change your name?
I like
title,
it.
but I thought
like
it was
that.
nice. Whatever. I thought it was
I
nice
liked
that
it.
he did
I liked it.
because they knew that everybody was going to have a hard time pronouncing this man's name, and they
Liz.
wanted to make it.
Yes, I agree. Liz, my queen, I agree with you.
My queen.
My queen. What?
Queen of
I can't call you that? I can't call you that? Word? I can't say that?
Anyway, the other thing I like, my other favorite joke is the black dude who's making the video.
That was funny.
In the fight.
Yeah.
Died laughing.
I think the problem with that joke is it's real.
Yeah,
Like, if that was going on a bus.
yeah.
There would be
Absolutely.
people sitting there like,
Okay.
First
I'm
of all,
glad
it'd be more than one.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm glad you brought
exactly.
that up. The only unrealistic thing about that fight is that there's only one person with the phone up. That's the only thing.
But he's
Exactly.
I'm gonna commentate.
But he was. I love that he was live streaming.
Oh,
That was hilarious because it's a difference between recording it and being like, okay, I'm doing this for the likes. Thank you. Just want to make sure. Okay, I'm gonna sit down now.
And
Yeah,
then,
that was
and then when
funny.
they were walking across, and he's like, "Hey, welcome." I was like, "What? This dude?"
And the
is
movie
too
went
funny.
downhill from there. It
Oh,
was
stop
fun
it.
to that point.
Stop it. Boo
I,
this man.
Tuala, get him.
Look, I'm sorry. Look,
Yo,
I'm sorry.
I was waiting for
There
Ant-Man to come up with
wasn't
that
enough wow factor in the film after that bus fight. There just wasn't that fight on between him and
I
his
think
sister.
Disney Plus has
That
ruined
fight
y'all.
was subpar. The fight on the building with the attacking ninjas. I hate nighttime fight scenes where you want to try to hide the choreography and the
Get some
fighting.
glasses,
That
brother.
wasn't that fresh. And that final battle wasn't. The final battle wasn't hot. You had a whole bunch of village people fighting.
It was
No,
not.
the
no.
village
It's
people
not a
with
fight. Listen, no.
that shit
Ryan,
wasn't fresh
wait,
to
It
me.
was Avatar.
Wait. I will give you Tuala and Mo. I will give you that point because to me, in the final battle where the hero of the movie is supposed to be fighting the other big bad, which is a secondary big bad, which is only in the last 10 minutes of the fucking movie, Falcor was doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you were riding on the back of the dragon, dude. When are you gonna do something? And he finally did it. He finally took the rings and plunged them into the thing's heart and then blew the heart apart and all that. So he did finish the fight, but to me, there wasn't as much Shang-Chi kicking ass in the final act of this movie to really make it a Shang-Chi movie. To me. And I had the thought, I was telling Ryan at the point where they were at breakfast and the auntie or the grandma was asking, why haven't you guys got married? I literally said to myself, this ain't it. And I mean by that, this is not the real phase 4 intro, which is going to roll me right into phase 4. Like, oh, I'm here for it. It was not that. It was a movie that kind of stands on its own, establishing this character.
That's what an origin movie is, though.
I'm not disputing that. But what I will say is, since
Spider-Man,
but this is my point. When Sony dropped that trailer, all anybody can think of is Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom on the screen at the same time. I understand, but it's also Sinister Six and everything else. That's really phase 4 because it's going to be followed up with Multiverse of Madness. And so I'm just saying, this movie Black Widowed itself. It didn't feel essential.
I thought it was better than Black Widow, but
it wasn't essential.
It wasn't essential.
No, it was essential because it brings in a new character. It was an origin story, so when they bring him back, you go, "I know who this guy is."
Yeah, and
that was the point. That was the point of the movie. That was the point.
Unless Shang-Chi, because you know who didn't get a solo movie when she was introduced? Her and Hawkeye. Wasn't nobody sweating them because all they did was jump around and kick people in the face. I don't know that I needed this to be a movie. If you had done Eternals first or whatever, and then maybe you get Shang-Chi, because you get with Eternals, I think we're going to see more of the rock'em sock'em laser beams coming out eyes and people flying around and doing that sort of shit that people expect out of a full-on Marvel movie. This to me is something that probably should have been pushed after Spider-Man, after Multiverse, because it really doesn't appear to be impacted by anything. It certainly isn't happening while Multiverse of Madness is happening. It certainly isn't happening in the aftermath of Loki with various multiversal threads coming unraveling. There was nothing in the movie that indicated that. And so to me, other than a cash grab for the Asian market, and it doesn't even have a release date in China, by the way, and Eternals may not either because of their director and some of the things that she has said. So I just don't know how this really fit in the puzzle, other than the fact that they were using it as a bellwether to determine their digital / theatrical platforming strategy. And so it really did turn out to be an experiment. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was perhaps 20 minutes too long, but I did laugh.
I thought the Trevor talking about the damn Planet of the Apes was hilarious as shit.
That was funny too.
That was funny as shit.
That is all I needed of Trevor, though. Literally, that's all I needed of Trevor. I did not need anything else.
And dude was and the little
tell him to play dead. Yeah, the little
play dead.
Wait, and what was the thing's name?
Crow Pig? What? I don't know.
No, it's Morris.
Oh, Morris. That's right.
Oh man, oh that was funny. Hey, no, but to me that was hilarious when they were like, "Oh my!" When he said, "Oh my God, you can see him," I laughed out loud because I was like, "This dude, this whole time he thought he was high.
He thought he was. He thought he was having a psychotic break."
Look again. I don't want anyone to walk away thinking that I just hated this film, but
it sounds like it, brother.
No,
look, this film, it suffered from maybe too much expectation. Maybe I was expecting an all-out martial arts blitz, and it turned into this family-friendly Disney film that I was like, all right, cool. But for me, I mean, again, if this shit was on Disney Plus, I would have been just as happy. When I say it should have been on Disney Plus, that's not a diss because we've had some stellar stuff on Disney Plus. What I'm saying is, as a MCU film, this film did not stand up to the other MCU lineage. It just didn't. Not to the best films that we've seen, especially with the character that's this important as far as representation.
Okay.
The first Asian superhero. This film should have knocked it out the park on all cylinders, and it didn't.
Okay. Let me ask you this, Swallow. Where would you rank it in all the movies? Would you put it top 10?
16.
No.
Where would you put it?
I mean, look, top 10. Yeah. It's definitely in the top 10. You know,
I can think of 15 movies better than this in my.
Go name them. Go. I'm listening, brother. Go.
Okay. Iron Man 1, 2, and 3.
Rise.
Wait a minute. This is my list. Fuck y'all.
It is your list. Go ahead.
Okay.
When keeping it real goes wrong.
America, Winter Soldier, and Civil War.
Yes.
All three of those.
Yes.
Thor 3, Ragnarok.
Okay, maybe.
All 4 Avenger movies.
Yes.
Okay. Black Panther.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Definitely Doctor
Ant-Man
Strange.
1 and 2.
No.
Yes.
No.
Guardians.
Guardians. Yeah. We're there.
Guardians. Yeah.
I will say top 10 is actually tough just because between the Avengers movies, Captain America, and Black Panther, that's 8 fucking movies right there.
Yeah. It's not the top 10.
And then you got Iron Man, which is undeniable. And so
Doctor Strange.
Right. Yeah. But
dude, it's a good movie, guys.
I think from a story perspective, from the care they took to craft the relationships of this family dynamic, I think it is a well-told story. How it fits in the MCU, there aren't really that many fingers and tendrils in the MCU. They were hand-handed. Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, but I'm saying what they did in this feature, in this film at this time, felt ham-handed to me. I didn't understand why. You had another guy with glowing energy in him in one of the cages. I don't see why Abomination versus Wong was essential to
that. Was the guy from Extremis.
I think we'll find out.
Oh, he was an Extremis guy. Okay.
Yeah, from Iron Man 3.
Okay,
I didn't know any of them had survived because
I really think a lot of these questions that we have will be answered later on.
They might.
I think so. I think
they
so.
may be, but that doesn't validate the movie. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, that's your business.
No,
that's your business.
No, we'll get an answer about Abomination and Wong,
Iron Man 3,
but it's not in this movie.
Iron Man 3, whatever you drink, you stop drinking that.
Language.
Iron Man 3.
It's better than Shang-Chi. Yes. The only thing
wrong with Iron Man 3.
Wait. See, that's the point.
We have a question.
It's Iron Man 3 and not also acknowledge its connection to Shang-Chi with the Trevor bullshit. There was far more Trevor in Shang-Chi than there was in Iron Man 3. And you can't disregard that Trevor component. The largest reason why Iron Man 3 was dissed was Trevor. That whole twist. And that twist was expanded and just leaned into in Shang-Chi.
Well, I think the Mandarin twist was less about Trevor and more about the fact of how they presented it. Because not only was Trevor not the Mandarin, but Aldrich Killian technically wasn't the Mandarin either, even though he called himself the Mandarin. And then he immediately got killed by Pepper. How's the Mandarin get killed by Pepper Potts? Okay.
Now, real quick to answer Barack's question. Looking at this film, if this would have been the first film out instead of Iron Man, there would be no MCU. That's clear as day.
I don't know about all that.
This film would not have launched the MCU.
No, it would not have.
Not
It
in
would not have.
2008.
It would not have. It would not have. I'm sorry. I got to roll with Twala on this. When Robert Downey Jr. stepped on screen as a playboy, genius, snarky cad, I knew the MCU was about to be lit.
It would have made so much money in China back in 2008. It just would have. That they would have had to keep on making more of these movies. They would have.
Maybe.
But it wouldn't have kicked off.
Well, the
it wouldn't have
storyline
led
would have
to
been different.
Storyline would have been
I
different.
Yes.
Let's, let's be clear. Iron Man didn't make so much money
What
when
if?
it first came out. It really didn't.
The
Hulk tanked.
I don't want
so
what if.
It was. This was not the movie to have kicked off the MCU. I don't care what Feige said, and I agree.
Okay, I will concede that, but it's still a good movie. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, Gavin wants to know how in the hell all them damn Jeeps got through the maze.
How did they? Did they stay in the pocket? Hey, Gavin, did they stay in the pocket?
That's my boy, though.
That was a big. That was a big ass pocket. That was a big ass pocket.
That was a huge pocket.
Wait, but this was supposed to be the moment that the whole thing was lit up.
Yep.
Right.
The whole route was lit up. So I don't know.
This was the once a year. Right. This was the once a year thing.
My gripe is,
hey, sure. Again, that to me, that's lazy storytelling.
How did they get an electric car from the 10 Rings compound to wherever that place is?
That GPS. That electric car was bullshit.
Yeah.
Look, that was absolute bullshit.
No. Well, no, it had the range, I think.
It did not have the range.
No,
that.
Not 500 miles. No,
it wasn't 500 miles.
What were they charging off Aquafina's like energy aura? Like, come on.
That wasn't 500 miles away.
No 500 miles.
I don't know how far it was away, though.
Okay, well, you can't use that argument.
Sure, I can. Remember, you go find it in the
to me, look, the whole issue of them and driving in with their army of Jeeps was silly. That shit was pedestrian and it was cheesy, cheap writing. That shit was whack. Fucking driving with our Jeeps.
They were all
and come out with our electric crossbows. What are we doing, dude? Stop.
Yeah, I didn't understand
what shit was that.
Well, I didn't understand the Chewbacca bows, but they were bolo things. They weren't just like Chewbacca blasters.
Yeah.
They were,
and that was great. Capture them, tie them all up. Sure.
Of this warlord who goes around raping and pillaging using less than lethal weapons.
He ain't Conan. Damn.
Yeah, he's not.
He was not.
What if? Are we moving on?
Okay.
Well, this is
Gavin, you got to fix your cap locks, bro.
Hey,
he had a love interest. He had a love interest. They articulated that Aquafina was supposed to.
Aquafina is not his love interest. Stop.
They were holding hands.
So I hold your hand, brother.
He friend zoned her.
Yeah,
he did friend zone her. He friend zoned the shit.
He friend zoned her.
How did he friend zone her? They were going out on a double date again.
No,
they went out to go and brag and say, like, look, we just had this whole thing. And this is where I really like how she said, yeah, so I learned how to fucking fire a bow and arrow in a day, and I took out the damn demon thing. Okay, sure, that's what you're doing. But they just went to go have that conversation, and because they had to have this resolve with Wong showing up, they just had to do it. They're like, look, guys, we are running out of story. We have to wrap this up. Just have them back at the restaurant and just go.
This is Rudd Lilly. This is Ant-Man and the Wasp. You're my brother, you're my sister, sexual tension energy. That's all that is. They're supposed to get together. Grandma says so.
I hope not.
When are you gonna get married?
Yeah.
I hope not.
Great.
Oh, I'm not a fan of Aquafina. Let's be clear. I'm not a fan of Aquafina.
Thank you.
But I'll just say this because I know we're running on time and we want to go. Did anybody peep that Shang's sister had a very similar hairstyle to Hope Van Dyne? To me, they were really building on that male character, female character, male, female, same powers, whatever. And I was like, God damn, Evangeline Lilly.
Tom, and color.
Yeah.
Because she wore white. You know,
I didn't understand.
Yeah,
I didn't understand why when she took over the 10 Rings, she had to turn that shit to like downtown hood in the mountains.
Right?
That was weird.
Like she looked like that, baby. She looked like that.
Sure,
because that's her.
The gangster. She keeps the gully.
Yeah, okay, no, that's great. We're gonna tag up the damn mountainside. Sure.
Well, they tagged up the car. Why not?
but understand,
Sure.
she was running an underground fight club. So
now she just got a compound.
Now she got a compound for the
Mortal Kombat.
Kombat on the text. Yes, it was very reminiscent of other B movies that we had seen this year.
Oh, so now
it was Mortal Kombat. It was Avatar.
Don't compare this to Mortal Kombat. No,
it was
do
very
not compare
reminiscent.
this to Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat was straight ass. Stop it.
Hey, look. When in the final battle, they were putting the armor on the lion beast things. I was like, stop it. What are we doing here?
Okay.
Why are you armoring up the lion beast?
When Shenlong came out of the lake, I was waiting for Goku to show up with a Dragon Ball.
Thank you.
Okay.
Exactly.
By the way,
I thought they were headed to
Pokemon was actually a pretty decent movie. So I'm not sure if we're really
what Detective Pokemon, Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
That was good. That was good.
Actually,
I wasn't mad.
I didn't like the way
all I'm
Snorlax
saying
looked.
is,
It was too
all I'm
fucking
saying is,
stupid.
unfortunate, and I think maybe it's my own desire to
Yes.
see just nonstop ass kicking, which we didn't see. I expected for Marvel's
not.
first
expected
real
this to be a
martial arts
radar
film,
movie.
which we knew we were led to believe this was going to be a martial arts spectacular.
It's a
That's what all
slow
the trailers
burn.
showed us.
Yeah.
That's what we were into,
Maybe
and
get that in the
we never
sequel,
saw
brother.
it. We
It's
saw
still
just
burning.
we saw the
Kicking.
tip of the iceberg, and
The
2
tip.
hours. I don't need 2 hours of non-martial arts. We got a total of 30 minutes of martial arts in a 2 hour 12-minute film. Just fucking crazy. That doesn't make any
They're
sense.
dealing with character development. Okay, come on.
Like, come on, you have the fight on the bus, you had the fight on the building, the half of fighting with my sister, and then you had the damn village fight.
I mean, what
in
did
the
you
end.
want? Like straight
That's it.
death?
Yeah.
I wanted
Yes.
fighting.
The head
I
chopped
wanted
off?
him breaking bones everywhere.
Have him fucking rip this dude's head off? What you want, brother?
Look, everyone that looked at him wrong, I wanted him to just bust their ass.
Okay, you need to shrink, my brother, all right?
None of his henchmen feared him. None feared him.
None.
I think they did. Because they listened to everything he said.
There. Hey, boss.
No, everything that he said, they listened to. So apparently they did.
He's the
if
boss.
they didn't fear him, at least they respected him.
Sure, look,
Because they knew what he could do.
I think to Anthony's point, at when they were getting prepared to go, and Razor Fist, Jesus, Razor Fist, walked into the office, and he thought the boss was looking a little love struck. I did see the glimmer of, why am I following this guy?
Yeah,
but they all got in them damn Jeeps, and Razor Fist nutted right the fuck up when she said, these things are going to suck your soul out. He's like, why should I believe you? Okay, we're going to do what they say now. So
that's a callback to the Avengers, the first fucking Avengers film. It sure was.
Yeah, it was with Captain America on 42nd Street.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We need to make that perimeter and did. So I didn't.
When he said that, I said, sure.
He said,
Jesus, man.
God.
I'm like, come
You're just
on.
a hater, man.
Dude,
You
hey,
shoe
look,
in for
call
hater
me-
of
hey,
the
look,
year.
look,
We
call
judge
me
Marvel
a hater.
movies against Marvel movies.
Yeah.
That's all.
This is a good Marvel movie. It's all I'm gonna say.
Shit.
He said,
No, it was not.
Yeah,
It was not a good
it was
Marvel.
a good
It was
movie.
a good Disney movie.
Yes.
Stop it.
This is what
Wow.
Mulan. This is what Mulan should have been.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was
Mulan
Mulan.
was
sequel.
good. What is wrong?
And guess what? This actually had the dragon that they could have had in Mulan. That's what had the dragon.
Shenlong.
So there.
He's roaming around.
Yeah, Cole, I'm telling you right now, when Cole saw the Nine Tails and Shenlong, he was done. It was a wrap. He was ready for this movie. He didn't care that Naruto and Goku had nothing to do with this universe. He was like, those are my people. I am feeling this movie right now. And he was done. So
It was great for kids. I would agree with that.
Oh God, man! Passive aggressive comments. Jesus Christ! Y'all some fucking haters, man.
Are we talking about
What If?
Yeah, What If was great. It was dark. We all loved it. Good
It's
night.
my favorite What If. Yes, it's my favorite so far.
Yeah.
It's my
It
favorite
was
so far.
Look, a completely soul-sucking episode of fantastic writing all the way through. This shit was stellar.
Great.
It haunted me. It left me feeling some things I didn't know I was feeling about myself. Like, damn, man, like, is that what it's like to be alone in the end?
Yeah.
Shit.
Steven went in the past to try and save his girl so many times by going into a different direction, going to a different place, not even picking her up. She even choked on some fucking pizza or some shit and died. I was like, dude, that's where I fucking laughed my ass off. I was like, dude, this is dark, but that's fucking funny.
This is where multiple.
No, it was horrifically sad. I mean, like that ending scene when he's begging the Watcher for help, and the Watcher's like, no. I was like, oh, dude, please give me a happy ending. Say, nah, I'm just playing. I got you. You know, I'm gonna reverse everything just this one time. No, he just watched that bubble shrink to nothing.
Happy ending. I'm down to Deshaun Watson. God damn.
I didn't really like this episode.
Oh, because there's no love story for you.
Because you're a decent person, Liz. That's why.
Yeah. You know what?
We
clearly don't have time to get into a debate, a second debate. This has been the angriest Nerdo roundtable in
I'm fight somebody right now. Come on.
I mean,
you want to fight me?
Like, really? Look, here's my magic ring. I'm gonna throw it at y'all.
So it's been a while since you've been this angry.
Oh, this was angry
because this would just bother me. This film bothers me, man.
Angry.
No, you wrong.
Fuck.
Shit. Look, man. Look, Ryan. You know you're gonna put this even lower on my list. Now, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, you know what? Maybe I didn't like this. Maybe it's straight up I didn't like it. How about that?
I think so too, Gavin.
Thank you, Gavin.
Gavin's wrong too.
No, he's right.
I think so too.
You know,
that bus scene.
I think we got
the bus scene. The bus scene was badass. The bus scene was badass, and that's where it climaxed.
2 hours of movie after that.
Yeah. We had a stellar fight on the bus, and then it was nothing.
Climax, happy endings. You're all over the place.
But we can all agree nobody liked Awkwafina in this movie.
Thank you. Yes.
No, I'm not going to agree with that.
Come on, Liz.
You know Liz is not going to co-sign on that slander.
I'm not.
It's not slander.
I mean, it's
fact.
Because Awkwafina was funny.
It wasn't funny.
You trying to tell me that whole shit on the plane when she was talking about you changed your name from Michael to Michelle? That shit was funny.
That was good writing. That wasn't Awkwafina.
Yeah.
Well, she tries too hard.
That was the writer.
No, she does try too hard. I'm not saying she doesn't. But I liked her little moment when she realized that she could shoot a bow and the guys told her don't die. I was engaged with her as that person.
The best moment that she was in that movie when the old lady was saying, when you aim at nothing, you hit nothing. That was the best moment for her.
Yeah, that was her Ben Parker.
Look, if he would have left her in San Francisco, I would have been fine. If he would have just left her in San Francisco after the bus and said, "I'll be back."
Okay, so
I get that he needed a humorous sidekick, but then they could have given more to Trevor, and he could have expounded on his coked out.
Yeah.
Oh, I definitely don't think more Trevor was the answer, but I take
no. I feel I'm just saying, like I don't know if I appreciate the fact that they did, just don't know if they needed to. He really could have left her in San Francisco. I'd have been fine, and he could have come back and told her.
Frisco with Venom.
Right.
Okay, so San Francisco, I thought about that, and I actually was thinking, oh my gosh, Ant-Man. And that's where, when I was like, we're in San Francisco, so that was the first thing that my head went to, is because it's interesting that they put the more comedy relief things on the West Coast. And in that aspect, and I was waiting for maybe when we come back, if you hear about something, why can't we have a throw to Ant-Man, because they're at least close together, near the end. But I was like, okay, well, that's not going to happen.
Sure. So I thought they were headed, seriously, I'm not trying to be funny, I thought they were headed to Kunlun, and I was like, oh my god, they do this and they bring out the Immortal Iron Fist. I would have had a fucking seizure laughing my ass off. Yes, I knew Tom would have been so fucking furious.
He would have walked out of the theater just yelling at the freaking group chat.
What I'm trying to figure out is how many different Asian-dominated dimensions do we have in the MCU? Because now we've got Kunlun, we've got wait, but then that's not a separate dimension, is it? I thought Kamar-Taj was just like in Nepal or something.
Yeah.
Is that a separate dimension?
Well, I don't
She
know. The
invented-
mirror
she
dimension.
invent- well, but the mirror dimension isn't Asian. That's just her. I mean,
Yeah.
the ancient one
That's
kind
where
of
you practice
doing
magic
her
without
things. Right, without consequence.
repercussions.
Right.
All right.
Okay, I was just asking.
No. Hey, look, it's all good. I'm glad we got all this off our chest. You know, we'll hopefully we'll get a happy,
Ending?
all agreeable episode of What If next week. Cause shit.
Well,
I don't
we
know.
can talk
We're gonna-
about this episode of What
No,
If.
we're
We
gonna-
don't have time.
We're gonna have to double up.
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
are not doing this shit right now. We are not doing
I said next week.
I know.
Next
I know.
week.
Yeah, we'll be doubling up. Okay.
Yeah. All right. There it is. All right then. Well, Anthony, good sir, going to take us out, brother.
Good news, everybody.
Oh,
Fuck y'all.
I'm nasty.
Where is my Trevor suit?
It's the art of confusion. Works on stupid people.
all righty. Excelsior.
My God, y'all going to hell.
I'm nasty.
Got a front of the line pass.